And we're back. This is Elliot and Jose coming to you from Dreamland Comics in Schaumburg, Illinois. Thank you for joining us here yet again on CCW TV. Before we get into last rants, there are a couple of you who have been asking us to look at this, to read it. And it was Image United, #1, or Image United.
#1? It
was #1, but I'm just saying it's Image United in general. And we read it.
I would like to think, since Robert Kirkman is doing this, I would really like to think that he's making fun of how bad comics used to be in the 90s. Because this is just my opinion. A lot of you guys might like this book. But, oh my god, this thing was a train wreck. It was...
You know,
I don't even want to get into this, because this could be like a 30-minute diatribe of like everything that's wrong with comics and what was wrong with comics. But this just reminded me really badly of what comics used to be like in the 90s when Image started. And this thing was just terrible. I can't even believe that Robert Kirkman wrote this.
Well, it says story by Robert Kirkman.
Yeah, see, I know, but it doesn't... Well, I understand that, but I was kind of looking...
And layouts by Rob Liefeld.
I think Rob Liefeld wrote this.
Yeah, really.
Because it kind of read like a crappy Youngblood comic.
I mean, it was... Okay, I don't want to piss all over the book. If you're like 10, I think you'd enjoy it. Like, you know, if you're just like into that slam, bang, shit gets blowed up real good type comic books. I don't know, but that you're right. It was like reading an Image comic from the 90s, and it's like the old guys.
And again,
let's evolve.
That's one thing. If it's Kirkman writing the story in that vein, then you succeeded, my friend. It is awesome. But I don't think that's how it was meant.
No, I don't think so, because that felt like an Image book from the day, and they just don't know how to get beyond the day. It's called the 21st century, guys. Join it already. So sorry, I know you guys, you wanted our opinion, and the truth is it just felt too retro. And not a good kind of retro. Not like Avengers Forever, which I would give to a younger reader. But this was retro that didn't need to be. And another thing that didn't need to be... Iron Man number 20. Part 1 of the Stark Disassembled story arc. I love this trade dress.
Let's talk about the trade dress for a second, okay? Yeah. So this trade dress, we talked about it on the blog a while ago. I love it. It's great. But for every cover that they do of this now, they're doing another cover. So there's 2 covers, and the next 2 issues are going to be the same way. This is the other cover.
And that's not even a new cover, is it?
No, it isn't.
No, it isn't? Okay.
You just seen it in ads everywhere.
Oh, there we go.
So, I don't understand what Marvel's doing here. Is it like, this one is too sophisticated for some of our readers, so we're going to give them this really awfully drawn one? Yeah. Like, I don't understand. Like, this is the look of the book. This should be the look of the book. This is how good this book is. I don't understand why they're dishing out this shit.
It's a loud cover.
Because it's a gatefold cover? Yeah. This isn't a loud cover. This is terrible.
No, it's a loud cover.
This reminds me of, like, horrible Koi Fam.
No, it's loud, man. Look, you got Thor holding his hammer, muscles rippling. You got Tony Stark in his armor, which, by the way, never happens anywhere in this book.
So for every awesome cover like that, the new design, which we totally like and we have talked about for the longest time, they're giving you this really boring one, and I don't understand why they're doing that. You know what, and I'm kind of glad to say this, we're almost sold out of this cover.
Yeah.
Because everyone bought this cover. Right. Because no one wanted this cover.
Yeah,
but now we're stuck with all these terrible covers.
And the book itself, another thing that didn't need to happen. Well, okay, first, the book itself. Yeah. Matt Fraction, again, really, the guy was born to write Iron Man. The guy was born to write Tony Stark, because this is a story where it's Tony giving his last will and testament. You know, he's got a little message in Pepper Potts' armor. It's telling the collected Avengers, okay, this is how things are gonna be. 1, I'm dead, or 2, I'm probably a vegetable. He called it. Mm-hmm. You can either A, bring me back, or B, if you decide you don't want to do that, this is what you need to do if you don't. And he leaves it at that. And then it just rolls from there. There is almost no action in this book whatsoever.
And I'll tell you one thing, man. This is the dialogue in here. I could not. It kept my attention.
It was
without any action, just the dialogue itself, and just Tony Stark talking for like 8 pages. That kept my attention.
Not trying to be clever. Not trying to use some fancy schmancy storytelling technique. It's just Tony speaking. A couple things that I loved about this issue. One, Tony saying this is what happens. I'm not apologizing. He goes, it's up to you folks to forgive me if you want, but I'm not saying I'm sorry, because he goes, you know what happened happened. What's past is that, and da-da-da. And that was Tony Stark to the very end. So you have that going on. You have the Avengers, that collection of the Avengers that we saw in the last issue making the call that you knew they were going to make, that they had to make. The revelation that, yes, Tony Stark can be rebooted, and there's a way of doing it. And I know you're pointing at this page. This was the moment of the book for me, where out of all the characters in the book to question, Pepper Potts is the one that says why, after everything that's happened, that she blames Tony for. After all the lives, after all that have been lost, after all the sacrifices that have been made, after all the terrible, terrible things that happened, all because of Tony Stark, she goes, how come he gets to get everything back? And to have Pepper Potts say that, who, you know she loves Tony, but to have her say that was one of the most telling moments of the story, and it just showed how Matt Fraction is not pulling any punches with these characters. He's letting them follow through, and we've been talking about the longest time. How do you redeem Tony Stark? This is the way. The road to redemption is a long and difficult one, and this is another step in it. And I was just blown away. I was really blown away by the book, by the story, by everything. It was, but I was not happy with some of the additional stuff.
Nor was I.
I mean, I'm reading this, and I'm thinking, oh, wow, because I remember the last issue was 32 pages.
Yeah, and it was $3.99.
And it was $3.99. And I'm going, and as I'm reading, I can feel there's still more book to come. So I'm going, oh, great. We're going to get a chance to really explore this. It ends here with a good 12 pages, 14 pages left. And the rest is...
Well, then they read... I like how they... The next cover, like the cover that we like, is when they print it out and is in this small box. But then the shitty cover is like the one that's like blown up. What are you doing, Marvel? Like, did they all of a sudden decide like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have done that? It's just it's gonna go over people's heads. They're not gonna like it at all.
They put in this stupid Iron Man saga thing, as if, oh yeah, if you haven't been reading the book up to now.
Now, it's interesting you say that, because there were a couple people, because I complained about this on the blog. I made this a post and I complained about it. But there were a couple people who were like, this was my first Iron Man book. I was kind of glad that they had it in there. And that's fine.
Which is fine.
But here's my problem with it. I've been reading this since issue 1. Okay? I already know what the fuck Iron Man is about. If I didn't know what Iron Man was about, I would go on Wikipedia. And this is the exact same thing that I said last time, that some of this back matter bullshit got thrown in the bag. It's like, if people really want to know what's going on, it's readily available on the internet. Or, again, not to beat this like a dead horse, but if you want to hype up the relaunch of, you want to get people to jump onto this, put this in a free giveaway, this Iron Man saga. They've done it before with Wolverine and stuff. They do it all the time. Just give it out as a free promotional thing and say, hey, there's an awesome jumping on point for Iron Man coming on.
Yep.
Get on it. Here's a free thing.
You didn't.
Why do you need... I don't understand, why do you need to punish the people who have been making this book what it is? The buyers of this book who love it and talk about it and buy it every month and have made it a top-selling book. Why you got to punish them by giving them this unneeded stuff in the back?
Which Joe Quesada said he wasn't going to do anymore.
They said it 6 months ago. Joe Quesada was like, we're not going to do filler anymore. That's why they're doing backup stories. Well, you know what? The backup stories are very few and far between, and they're still doing this. They're still doing this. And it killed me that in this book, I said on the blog, I'm done buying Iron Man.
Yeah.
I'm done buying it. I'm going to read it, and the only reason I can do this is because I work in the comic shop. I'm just going to read it from now on, and
just collect the trades afterwards, because the trades.
I'm not even going to do that anymore, because that means Marvel's just going to get my money one way or another. I don't want to. And as soon as it happens in Thunderbolts, as soon as it happens in Fantastic Four, as soon as it happens in one of the other few Marvel books that I buy, as soon as they do this, I'm done buying that book too.
See, to me, that's where
I'm just getting sick of it.
I know, but see, that's where now it's the creators that are getting punished for what the publisher's doing.
And that's what I said about on the blog. It's like,
the creator has no say-so in that.
Exactly. The reason I buy Marvel books, the select ones I do, is because I want that creator. I'm giving them my money. I'm giving them my support.
Right.
And I want to give Matt Fraction my support for this book.
Right.
And now Marvel has just made it that I don't want to do that anymore. The dislike for Marvel doing this is now outweighs my like for Matt Fraction's Iron Man.
And
the fact that, again, and this wouldn't be a problem, but the last issue was $3.99, and there was a reason why, because it was a double-sized issue. And I didn't even think twice about it. I didn't think that Marvel would go back to doing this shit again. Right. So I picked it up without looking through it, because I just thought it's the new jumping on point. It's another double-sized issue, because it was just $3.99 last time.
And that's where we get into the rant part, where it's Marvel, right now, with some of its practices, it's killing their creators. They're killing their creators. By putting this in the back of Invincible Iron Man, I feel for Matt Fraction right now, and we don't hold Matt Fraction or Salvador Roca or any of the artists on this book responsible for this. Mm-hmm. Warren Ellis, remember that whole thing with Ghost Boxes came out? Remember those two X-Men issues?
They were $4.
They were like
16
pages of art and then like reprinted scripts in the back. Mm-hmm. And those are $4 books. A lot of people got fed up with that. You guys, after I got back from Europe, we were talking about the Soleil line. This is a Sky Dolls Factory. This is a little variant edition of a story from the Soleil line. This thing has all of what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No, don't count this one, because this is a reprinted page.
Okay.
So 9. This is a 9-page original story. 9
pages of original story, and the rest is all reprint material of sketches. Sketches
and
from...
penciled.
The pencil
and
sketches.
not even very good reprinted, it's like this is... In the Sky Doll hardcover, the collection of the original series, which is what all this stuff is coming out in December. So this is... If you already have Sky Doll... if you want to see the art, that's one thing. It's $6. Okay, first of all. Second of all, look how small the reprinted pages are. They don't even... They're like a third, maybe half of the page. All this wasted space. They couldn't even blow that up. The reason people would buy this is to look at the pencil line and the line work. To make it so small on there.
This is shrunk down to at least a third of the original artwork, because when this stuff is published in Paris, it's a large, oversized hardcover. So you got it shrunk down to at least a third of the size. And you're charging $6 for this. I couldn't believe.
And I understand that all of the Soleil stuff is $6 because I guess they have to pay a large licensing fee. But this is a special, behind the scenes 2-issue miniseries that they're doing. But
where's the behind the scenes? Pencil pages with no explanations, no script, no saying this is how the whole thing worked out, no liner notes by the artist or the writer. I don't see any of that. It's just a reproduction of the penciled pages with the artwork, with the balloons put in. Mm-hmm. How is that a behind the scenes or a making of? I don't get that, and it's unconscionable to me that they are paying. You have to pay so much money to get this. Mm-hmm. To get this.